other guy with the polearm, he comes in and he does a pirouette thing. What was the purpose? What was the purpose? He was not, he was far away from Kylo. Why would he decide to spin in that instance? Remember, spinning does exist in historical sword fighting if you're actually doing something and employing the spin for something, for a reason, right? There was no reason for him spinning there apart from showing off. It's like, hey guys, the other pair of guys, check this out. Watch me, guys. Watch me, I'll spin. Look at, I spun. Do you see that, guys? I can spin around, I can pirouette. Coming in, big wide telegraphed hit. Kylo is holding the other guy's polearm and he does a static block. Look, static blocks do exist. They're just not as effective as a riposte where you block and attack in the same motion. But no, it's a static block, and what does he do from here? Blocks, and then he disengages his lightsaber and comes in with a wild overhead swing where it gets blocked. But that wasn't even aimed for his opponent. You would think you would want to aim for your opponent's head, even if the opponent is going to try and block. But instead, it comes down and it's in front, it's forward. Like, the guy didn't even need a block. If he just didn't block, Kylo would have missed completely past, a couple of centimeters, maybe 10 centimeters off from his right arm, missed completely because it's overswinging. Then Kylo would be open, and the Imperial Guard could just do an overhead swing into Kylo's head. See, this is what I mean about when your opponent either overswings or misses. You just sometimes withdraw your weapon, let them overswing, and hit them when they're open directly afterwards. But no, that hit knocks the guy back somewhat, and then Kylo is running forward and tries to do a thrust, gets knocked aside. Now he spins. See, that might have been one of the only he spins and then moves up to a block, all right? But that's the kind of spinning that sometimes can be viable when you throw a strike and say you are off balance somewhat, or you overswing, or you're just in a position where the block moved your sword so much so that it's to the side. Instead of bringing back and just cancelling out that momentum, you can go with the momentum and spin around, which is kind of what Kylo does here. See, he goes in with a thrust and he just moves with the momentum because he's got the sword in his offhand, and if he just extended that sword arm right there into a strike, he might have hit his opponent, but his opponent is in a good position to block any incoming strike. But Kylo then decides to, instead of strike, he waits for his opponent to hit him, and he comes up with a block. Now, what do you see anything significant here, everyone? Like, look at Kylo's position, look at his opponent's position, and look at what Kylo's holding with his other hand, okay? Kylo has warded off his opponent's weapon. They are in the bind with his lightsaber, which means his opponent is completely open to the polearm staff thing that Kylo's holding with his other hand. So Kylo, take advantage of the opening. Just strike him. Instead of striking at the blatant opening his opponent has, he decides to hit his opponent's weapon. What is he aiming for? He's actually hitting up to his opponent's weapon with the polearm he's holding in his other hand. So he hit his opponent's weapon, and the opponent was completely open. He could have just hit him right in the torso, killed him, but he hits the opponent's weapon to knock him off his feet. And now someone else is coming in. This Imperial Guard, what is his plan here? He's running in, both arms up, and who is he trying? Is he trying to protect someone? No, because the opponent, the other Imperial Guard, is out of reach of Kylo. So Kylo can't hit him from where he's standing. And so the Imperial Guard that ran in with his forearms isn't protecting his other Imperial Guard buddy here, because Kylo wouldn't be now to hit him. And Kylo didn't look to be trying to hit the Imperial Guard that just ran in with his forearms, so he could have just stayed back and everything would have been fine. But instead, he decides to run in, and he holds up his forearms to try and block Kylo's lightsaber for no reason at all. And then this, of course, shows the inconsistency with the armor, because suddenly the armor is tough enough to block like a lightsaber, full on, touching, putting pressure against those forearms, that armor, and now it's working. And then Kylo has the staff thing in his other hand still, and so Kylo just kills him. Yeah, thanks for committing suicide, because no weapon, no ability to protect himself. He has just run in and commit suicide. Sure, Kylo's saying, oh, gee, thanks, thanks for that. And now, I'll do it. Now the armor is blocking the strike now. Now it's hitting on the neck. Perhaps there's a weak point on the neck, but we've seen the lightsaber penetrate the chest armor completely already. Is it the forearm armor that's better? Oh, now the other guy that was on his feet, he strikes at Kylo, misses completely. Kylo isn't dodging here. He isn't leaning back. And so the strike, and look, granted, sometimes you missed your strike, but if these are well-trained Imperial Guard, you'd think they'd have a better understanding of measure in sword fighting or just combat in general. Step into measure when striking. Don't be out of measure. You know the reach of your weapons. You get a good reflexive understanding of the reach of your weapons and when they get to hit and when they won't. When you will be able to hit, when you are in measure, when you're not in measure. Coming in for the strike. The strike passes. The strike literally passes the leg already. And then Kylo's going to raise the leg like he actually dodged it and lifted his leg out of the way. Obviously, that's what was meant in the choreography, that the strike was going to come into the leg and Kylo was meant to raise the leg to dodge that attack completely, but the timing is off, his timing is off, and so the stuntman has come in and Kylo hasn't raised his leg, so that's why he hasn't extended his arms, purposefully misses, because now he raises his leg as part of the choreography. Sorry, mate, you're a bit late, okay? You're way off. Then the overswinging, he spins around. Look, he did swing so much that maybe a spin was effective or at least acceptable in this specific set of moves right here, because he spins around. Kylo again, he's open and it's telegraphed and he grabs the blade, and mate, you're not fighting the right way against you know, an unarmed opponent. Look, I get this is all part of the choreography, and I'm not here to try and rag on the stuntmen, because I actually do believe the stuntmen probably know how to fight far more effectively than what is being set up here. It actually looks like a lot of the timing is thrown off, and if you were to guess who's throwing off the timing, generally you probably wouldn't say it was the experienced stuntmen who are out of time in this choreography. It's probably the more inexperienced actors, if you were to guess. So anyway, Kylo is holding the staff, and they're strength against strength. Okay, yeah, the Imperial Guard is decided, all right, you want to grab onto my staff? I'll throw it. But why? Like, if he had that much leverage to swing around and stuff, you'd think he might have been able to leverage the blade low and then coming up with a, you know, an upward strike from a downwards position. Yeah, interesting position. From where Kylo is holding onto the staff, he actually isn't holding onto it in such a way where he would get a lot of leverage. And so I think the red guy here, Imperial Guard, is he trying to choke him? Because this isn't how you choke. You wouldn't be able to choke someone with like this. I mean, all Kylo has to do is turn his head to the side to move his esophagus into a different position so the pressure's on the side of his neck instead of the front. And so, you know, you're not going to choke Kylo here. Yeah, so honestly, it doesn't look like a difficult thing to get out of. So, Imperial Guard, yep, trying to ineffectively choke Kylo, but instead he decides to let go of the staff. Look at where Kylo's hand is. Look at what the guy's doing. If he lets go of the staff, even for an instant, and Kylo is trying to pull the staff away, what do you think should happen here? Kylo doesn't pull the staff. I mean, so the Imperial Guard has literally let go of one hand on the staff, which means he has no more leverage to hold the staff over Kylo's throat. And so Kylo is not pushing against the staff anymore, clearly, because if he was, he would just be able to push away the staff from the, and because the guy only has one hand and Kylo has two hands on it, now he has more leverage. Kylo is the one with more leverage on the staff. He'd be able to wrestle it out of the guy's grip, I reckon, just by the right type of angling. But no, Kylo is holding the staff on it and is still looking like he's getting choked. This scene right here, this frame that we're looking at right here, is Kylo choking himself. He is holding the staff onto his neck. It's like, I'm choking you. I'm sorry, mate. I've let go of the staff. Oh, you have? Oh, so I don't need to choke myself anymore? Well, not for long. I mean, I am going to bring my fist up like that. But, you know, if you're pulling on the staff with any measure of force, that brief moment where I let go, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't have been able to wrap my arm around it, and you would have gotten free. So thanks for letting me do this, Kylo. No problem. This right here is the most infamous exchange of this fight scene. It is just astounding, the incompetence of what happens here. So we're going to break it down frame by frame. I've addressed in other videos, but there are certain things I haven't pointed out before that are astoundingly dumb. And so we're going to break down everything about what happens right here. So from the beginning, Rey, she's not even facing her opponent. Her back is literally facing her opponent. Like, How are you standing, woman, right? And so the guy, if he just like slash forward, he would slash Ray's back if he even bothered. But instead, he's just going to stand there and wait for Ray to attack him, even though Ray is